Yeah.
I think too that it kind of weaves in a kindness and inclusivity, a little bit of hope, um, and a need to move on even if you don't have hope. All of that stuff kind of works in to I want to say what you would call a church, although a church is more about the people, more about you being the temple than I would say a physical building. But I think there's a more inclusiveness in like us understanding each other. Like, you know what? I know you're going through it.
You're going
I
through,
know
yeah,
you're
yeah,
going to deal
yeah.
with
And
it.
we
And
all
matter
go
of
through it,
fact,
rich or poor. Like we all go kind of,
that's right.
yeah. We everybody goes is going through something in life. Like,
You might not even have the answer, and I don't have it either. We both sitting up
yeah,
here with a big question with no answer. Hey man, we're gonna keep it moving though. It's like I don't know, but I know that we just gotta keep going.
right.
And sometimes that's a lot of times actually that's enough
Yeah, that's
right
enough.
there.
Yeah.
Now we are like right at the portion of the meal where I think we into the main course. Like we well beyond the snacks and I even eat dessert first when I go to banquets and stuff because it's there with the salad. But
Okay.
like in this main area here, I'm thinking envision like a table. And probably, over the course of your career, I imagine it's a table that you build and
Hmm.
set yourself. But if
Hmm.
you think of a banquet setting, and you come to a table, saying, you know what, you step to that table with courage, there's some things that once a space is yours, that you claim it. But I think in you claiming your space, you arranging your space like this my space right here. Not it's not just mine, it's everybody's. Like I think just as a concept, speak in terms of your career on how you made your space yours and how maybe just like people helped you along the way, how you might reach out and bring somebody along and kind of invite them to sit down too.
Um, uh, I don't follow. I don't really understand.
Oh, well, like let's just say you sit at the table and like,
Hmm.
okay, I'll break it down into the pieces here and stuff. When you first step to a space, like you are DJ Yo. Nobody like that's your spot. When you step to them tables, you probably have some trepidation about I hope I'm, rocking this crowd. I hope y'all are enjoying what I'm doing here. But
Hmm.
it's not paralyzing anymore. You know what I'm saying? You belong
Oh,
on
so
the
yeah,
table.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You belong on them tables. There's no doubt anymore.
Right.
How did you claim that space? How did you step in and say your moniker is I am DJ Yogi? How'd you claim
Um, how do I claim that? I mean, I
that?
just gotta face it. I mean, some days I'm good at it, some days I'm not. Like I still struggle with that. I still struggle with the fears of certain things. I hate to admit. I mean, nah. I mean, I'll admit to it. Like, yeah, I still struggle with like you know. Sometimes it's the room and circumstances, who I'm around. Like, yeah, I still struggle with that every once in a while. Like, I still struggle with like, man, should I be doing this?
Okay.
But in some situation, it just depends on the setting, environment sometimes. But yeah, it's still kind of struggle with it. And and that's my always my challenge when I go out, especially when I'm DJing. I always like, hey man, like I've been trying to work on things to kind of trick myself to kind of um trick myself into being like, no, you're good, you're fine. Like I've been doing some little things here and there. So sometimes it's like put a hat on, or sometimes I wear sunglasses. Like past couple gigs I've done recently, I just throw some shades on, not like dark lenses, but like some shades just to kind of make me feel like another person. And that other
Oh.
person just like is a party rocker. Just little mental games that
Oh.
I've done just to kind of like I want to see how I feel with these on, and just little stuff, man. Little stuff to age yourself. Obviously, like I've always been told, like a few times I've played out at like venues where they're serving alcohol, and usually like I'll if somebody I know, they'll be like, uh, "Oh man, you should have a few drinks before you DJ." And it works sometimes, but sometimes you don't want to be drunk when you're DJing.
Sure, sure.
yeah, it just doesn't really like yeah, a few drinks like sometimes loosen you up, but then you don't want to end up relying on that. So that's not kind of so yeah. I mean, still struggle with it, and that's I'll admit to it. Like still, I try to face it as much as possible. Like, but yeah, still struggle with the being the like oh well, because I'm not big mouth, whatever, whatever. But if you book me for your event, I'm gonna rock it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time, and that's always my goal. And so more than anything, I have to remind myself every time when I'm going somewhere to DJ, like just make sure people are having a good time. Play good stuff, but make sure everybody's having a good time. And always play good stuff. Try to play good stuff. Like, be proud that like, oh yeah, I may have played a few trap or not trap, but like just a few stuff things I don't like. I don't dislike trap, but I don't play a lot of trap. Um, but just make sure I play like at the end of the night. I'll have people come up to me and be like, "Yo, like I never heard this and I never heard that, and then what was this?" Like just try to always kind of push it forward. You know what I'm saying a little bit because that's what got me into it was like I'd go to when Kid Capri would come to Miami, like
Right.
he'd play these are old records, but he'd play like Mary Jane Girls, and
Mm.
he'd play like Earth the Devotion, the breakdown for Devotion, and he'd play uh just he played Joy to the World. But I didn't know these are records. I'm like, yo, they bang, but I'm like, I don't know these records. Like, but I'm like, wow, like he just opened up my whole musical palette, like just in one set. I'm sitting there like, damn, like I could play. I don't have to just play it. I could play all this other stuff too. And as long as it's in the pocket, like I could still win the room. And so like I try to when it comes to DJing, I try to remember that like that there's some records that people may never hear, but you throw it in the pocket and it works, and you put it in the right spot in the mix. People are still gonna be like, "Yo, what is this? I don't know what it is, but it still got me going."
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
yeah.
think that that making yourself like into an avatar that can kind of claim your space for you. Like I'm trying to remember the joke that said the entertainer in Kings of Comedy. He was
Mhm.
like, he says, uh, 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 he said, I think he said, white folks hope and black folks wish. Like you show up at a theater and you purchase, you got tickets for your assigned seats.
Mhm.
Well, white folks will be like, well, I hope that there's no problems. I hope that things go well. As black folks come in, I wish a nigga would be in my seat. Like I wish, like like that. But it's almost transformative. Like okay, you become that avatar. It's like okay, your space at the table. It's like I know if you book me for a show, I'm going to rock it. But you're also battling some insecurities. Then you
Oh
show
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Because
wait a minute.
yeah, because so much can go wrong, man.
Exactly. But now
so
that
much,
you'd be like,
so
wait a
much can
minute.
go
That
wrong.
you say that's Peter talking. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, no. I mean, it's just reality talking because so much
Sure.
can go wrong. Like, I always say that to people. Not so much, but like I always like jokingly say it to a lot of like my friends or people who ask me like, hey, "What's DJ like?" So DJ to me is like the greatest social experiment because
Mm,
you're going into a room with you know hundreds of people that you don't know for the most part,
that's right.
and you're trying to get them to dance. And
Yeah,
you don't know any of these people. So
I must
like
say so.
and
Yeah.
depending on the venue, you have maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes before they start saying, fuck you, man. Like I'm leaving.
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
If that. Like so yeah, and but that's the part of it that kind of in the back of your head, you're like, like I gotta get this going, you know what I'm saying? And obviously, like you've done it long enough, so you kind of know what works. But then just little tricks. There's a lot of little tricks that kind of help you get the party started. There's a lot of little tricks, but as the more and more you keep DJing, you start learning all the little tricks, like on how to find out who's in the room, how to figure out what people like, because there's a lot of little things that you can do as a DJ. Like I'll impart them. Like you show up to the venue early, and just you scout the venue before you go, like a week before, to see what kind of works at that spot. Um, and you just kind of like you get there before your set. You try to get there early, especially if there's an opener. You want to sit in there and kind of listen to the opener. Um, and if you're the opener, you should come the week before and listen to what the other
Right.
opener played. And
Right.
just stuff like that. Just do your research, do your homework, and then. But then there's still but sometimes you get thrown in situations where like you get the last minute call and you kind of not have an idea of the venue, but they want you to come rock, and you're like, I want to take it, and you take it, and you got to do it. There's different ways of doing it. So you got to like talk shit on the mic a little bit,
Hmm.
and then I talk, but not all the time. But sometimes I talk more depending on I'm trying to feel you out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of times you get, like, oh, who's up here? The South up in here tonight. You get, oh man, it's New York in the house.
Right.
And you're just the DJ's just trying to figure out who's in the room. You know what I'm saying? And if you get like A-Town in the house, and then you're like, okay, this is the Atlanta crowd. I'll be like, oh, where my Caribbean Massive at? And if the hands all go up, you're like, all right, I know where I'm going. It's just all the little tricks that DJs are doing. If you're a vet, or if you just know, like that's what you do. Like you just work the room. I
Yeah.
feel bad for the DJs that don't like talking on the mic, because
Well,
usually, um, but there's a lot of good DJs who don't talk on the mic, who know, but they know what room they're in. But like the ones that don't know, but they don't talk on the mic, so they're just playing stuff. And I'm like, nah, if you kind of talk on the mic, you kind of like kind of help yourself out, you know.
absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of help yourself out, or like anybody, anything stupid, like anybody celebrating a birthday up in here. Oh man, all kind of dumb. You just say dumb stuff. It's part of the reason why sometimes I don't like drinking all the time when I DJ, but when you're drinking, you're a little bit more uninhibited, so you'll start saying really stupid stuff.
Right. Oh, there's roles at the party. I mean,
Oh yeah,
some people you were like, I wouldn't hang out with this person on a day-to-day basis, but if I'm having a party, they've
yeah,
got to be here because they're gonna do something silly,
yeah,
or they're
something silly.
always bold enough to be the first one on the dance floor.
Yeah,
They'll be a little kid and play, grab the one foot and just jump back and forth with it.
right.
It's something to get this thing started.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
There's always something. There's always something, man. Or it's the right record. Obviously there's low hanging fruit, but there's also like there's a lot of high level stuff you could do. Just depends on what room you're in, man. Like it really, really depends. You just got to know your crowd, know your people, know who you're playing for, and that alleviates a lot of the fear. But there's still a fear, even when you do know
sure.
like who's in the room, because you want to do well. At least if you're really good at what you do, or you like what you do, you always want to do well when you're doing whatever you're doing.
Well, in you pulling together, like I didn't know about your recent put on the hat and put on the sunglasses, but I start thinking in terms of like a superhero, persona, and the tricks that you have. And
Yeah.
Batman doesn't have to be Batman. Bruce Wayne could just put on some jogging pants, sneakers, and go out and
Right.
start punching people.
Right.
But
Right.
he
Right.
puts on the cape cowl, gets in a different car, and he
Yeah.
shows up. And he's like, you know what? I don't know that Bruce Wayne can protect Gotham City, but the Batman never fails at it. In much
Yeah.
the same way, like you take the book in, somebody calls and you pick up the phone like hello. But by the time you show up, I am DJ Yogi.
Right.
Like lightning strikes, like prepare to be rocked, like
Yeah.
because you put on the hat, the
Or
visor,
yeah, had some
the
sort of sunglasses, or
yeah, the
or
t-shirt
sometimes,
that says fuck with it,
yeah,
whatever you
something
got.
like that. Or
Yeah,
like
so I think
sometimes I throw on like last time I played Rocksteady, I threw on this little silver, little chain. It's just to make let me know like, all right, I'm feeling fly. I'm about to rock. Throw a little chain on something. It's something to kind of mentally psych yourself up. Be like, all right, I'm about to get on my shit right now. Like I'm about to have some fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so you kind of, especially if you rocking like party, you gotta kind of have a little, you know, and if you just got some people just got natural swag on their own. Sometimes I'm kind of more of a square. Then I'm like, oh wait a minute, I got to get into my Stefan real quick, man. Hold on, put my shit on.
Yeah, you got some Steve Urkel and Stefan
Yeah,
Urquette.
yeah, I
You
gotta
know
switch
what
it
I'm
up.
saying?
Like,
I think, I mean, now here you mentioned something and it just made me, I'm compelled to ask. You said the DJ's journey is one where you're stepping into a room of 100 or more people and you're trying to get them to dance and they don't know you. Do you
yeah.
think that that's more of a tense situation?
Oh,
Or
it's yeah, it's
when we,
terrible.
wait, let me tell you the other one though. The other one is people, there's a room full of me's in there who's like, that's motherfucking DJ Yogi. Okay, so
uh,
now you have people with that expectation. Which one would make you more nervous?
um, I can't say more nervous. I mean, it all depends on what happens. Because sometimes you get that room where it's like, oh, it's DJ Yogi, and then
That's
so
right.
everybody knows your tricks, and then if you don't do your tricks, oh, you didn't fucking play. Oh man, the whole time they
Or you
calling
just
you
feel
out, you're like, damn.
underwhelmed. Yeah.
It's like, yo, dog, you my homie. How the fuck you calling me out in the middle of my shit?
But
Oh
you'll
man, I
be
thought
like, oh, Yogi
you
gonna rock. And then
he
it'll be
gonna
like,
rock this shit. He's like,
yeah,
man, I thought you was gonna do that shit that you did on the last mix. I'm like, nigga, you sure shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Like what you
See,
talking about?
that's where
You can
I
get the
land.
da-da-da-da.
I
You be
land
like,
right there. I'm the mascot. I've been the mascot all my life. So instead of me waiting on like, oh, this is Yogi, he's gonna rock, I already presume that. Like, your first time or your 50th time. But then when you do the thing, your mixed cloud, I remember coming up against the limit of mixed cloud spins because TLC had that way back song with Snoop Dogg and you scratched the shit out of it. You were blending from I can't remember what song you blended
oh
into,
shit.
but you go way back, back. I was like, he cutting the fuck up, and I'm just yelling at a computer, like just like it did something to me. But I went back and I was like, comment, listen again, and I mean, Mixcloud makes you listen to, like it compels. I can't
Yeah,
just
you get a
bring up
limit. Yeah, I think
anything.
if you're not like a subscriber or whatever, like you get a
Right.
limit. Yeah, you get a limit on how many times you can rewind and all that stuff. And
So
so
I
like,
went and I say, okay, so this is so I'm always looking rather than put the pressure. I mean, I just wanted to know what your answer was, but rather I'm gonna be the type. I'm not in the room saying, okay, DJ Yogi is gonna rock it, he better rock me, or I'm not the stranger that says I paid my money, entertain me. I show
oh
already
yeah,
like I'm going to have a good time. Let me celebrate whenever he does something that's gonna be the shit. Then that's the shit right there. And I'm really spent if you have spent the night saying that's the shit. No, no, that's the shit right there. No, that
that's the one thing I think I need to like, because there's a lot of DJs like the ones that are very well known
yeah,
that have their things that they know when people come see them, especially if they're like scratch DJs. But even if they're like music DJs that have their own music, like people when they book them, they expect to see like Jazzy Jeff. If you see him, you're kind of at some point going to expect him to do the Peter Piper thing
yes, yeah,
and the Rock the Bell. He does the Rock the Bells thing, and then so like he's going to do a couple other. But he has, so it's kind of but so like that's the kind of like there's an up and coming guy. I mean, he's doing this thing right now locally. Popo, and Popo he has a few things that you like on his Instagram page, and like you're like, okay, he always kind of does this. He always kind of. I mean, it's all dope. It's all super dope, man. It's hella
yeah,
creative DJ, and then JC has his things that
right,
like when you see him, he's always gonna. Depending on what kind of groove he's on, and he just has all these weapons, and um, when I DJ, I don't have my weapons like that. That's the only thing I don't do. Like I play off of like straight vibe.
yeah.
Like I'll prep my set. I kind of like will have an idea, but I don't have like routines, and that's the only thing that's never been my strong suit. Like I'm gonna do this thing. Like a lot of times when I do the radio show, it's just Like, all right, I got a 3 hour window right now on my schedule. Like, all right, let's I'm gonna put the set together, and then things will just happen in the flow. Like, well, I'm like, all right, I'm finally getting loosened up. I was like, oh yeah, this song fits right here. Let me throw this in there. Boom, and they're like, so it's a lot of stuff is just all just off vibe, just because time most of the time just kind of doesn't permit for me to, depending on what time of year it is, doesn't permit for me to sit there and prep this and go through all these things. And it's like when I do the show, a lot of times, sometimes I'm hearing the stuff for the first time you're hearing it, or like,
Right.
yeah. And I'll sometimes I'll say it on the show, I'm like, yo, tonight's a crate dive. I'm just flipping through like, I got tons of music on my laptop. So I'm like, I'm just flipping through here and just seeing what, like, I was like, oh yeah, I ain't heard this. And I downloaded this, I forgot to listen to it, and that kind of thing. So sometimes that's why, like, I'll either cut it short or I'll let it rock all the way through because I'm like, oh, I'm kind of feeling this, and then, or sometimes like, all right, this ain't going. This is like, it's either it sounds bad or it's not mixed right, or I just don't like it. I'm like, I ain't been. This ain't really. This is kind of killing my energy when I'm doing the show in terms of radio show wise. But yeah, but that's kind of like just my DJ approach. It's funny. It's funny but good. I like it. I like it.
Well, you got your style and your stamp. I think that there's several DJs that rely on that. When I first got over here in '98, and I used to work downtown across from the underground, I was supposed to be in to work at 8:30. I typically would get in about 8:45 or 9 o'clock. Nobody really cared. I mean, it was a big old Y2K engagement and stuff like that. So there was plenty of moving parts, and nobody would notice my little empty seat. However, I'd be in the parking deck. It wasn't like I was pulling up late. I'd be there, but at 8:30, that's when we get scrambled eggs and jam, and that's DJ Doc when he was on
Oh, was that
97.5.
97.5? Your hot 97, yeah.
Yeah, when it became 107.9 later, but when they were over on Old National,
Right.
there, and I remember it wasn't even his thing, but he would sample I want to say it was UTFO, Dr. Ice, but that little line, word up, Doc, on the
Hmm.
ultimate, word
Right,
up,
right.
Doc. And then he would have that little dun, 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 dun. That was his. When I heard that, I knew that I
Hmm.
wasn't going to be exiting the car because it set the stage for it. So in the same way, when you start your mix, then it's like whatever the intro is, but right at that part where you hear Yogi, 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 it's like, oh, okay, I don't think I'm gonna be leaving. You know what I'm saying? So it's that and the stylings. And I mean, shout out to the homie J Force. Uh the first hour when he used to do the every other Saturdays over there,
Yeah, yeah,
with beats and lyrics. He
yeah,
would be doing it. The first hour would be solid mixing. He would every now and then come in and be like, "You listening to the mix show live from Atlanta?"
yeah,
Like that. But
yeah,
he would always have like a robotic sounding like sound wave would say J Force, and then you
yeah,
hear, and I'll go
yeah,
like, okay, yeah, I'm not
yeah,
going in there because this dude is transformer. Like he literally has a transformer, and it's all high energy, like maybe like Aesop Rocky mixed in with like uh uh I can't even think of like just like old and new school stuff before an hour of high energy. Throw in a
hmm,
scratch, throw in laser beams, throw in. So it's nothing that is unique to him, but it's the combination of him putting that little J Force tag in there and his style.
yep,
Then that's what's gonna hold you. So in your search for that thing or that bag of tricks that you're always going through, your Peter Piper, Jazzy Jeff thing, you
uh,
you you kind of already got it. You know what I'm saying? At
well,
least
I got the Yogi thing. I know everybody's
yeah,
always like,
at
yeah,
least
like they're like, oh, but make sure you hit it. Shout out to Jewel, my homegirl. She listens faithfully just as much as you. She works at the airport, and she's always
okay.
like, when I know I hear Yogi.
That's when I'm not going though. I'm telling you that. And when you
She's
did
I'm in.
the
I'm locked in. Or like the thing I say now a lot is I'm always like remix show. What up?
exactly,
Just yeah, just to
I
kind of
think
like
that um Big D, shout to Big D when you said
yeah, shout out to
remix.
Big D.
What you put
Yeah,
that in
remix
there,
boy. Yeah, I
and
don't
then
have that. I gotta find that drop. I need to bring that back just for. I didn't bring
I
that because
thought
I
it was
think
the
those
Garden
Gerald had
State.
that. Gerald had
Yeah,
that on his laptop. I don't think I have that one.
you might be able to get it out of him because I couldn't. I wanted
I gotta
that.
find it. I bet you because he gave me the whole thing when
Oh,
Gerald left. He
cool.
gave me the whole. He gave me all the drops. I have all of them. It's just
Okay.
like just dealing with a million files, so it's probably just buried in there, and I never labeled it properly. So
And then
yeah, I need to bring that one back.
I mentioned it when we did the live show at the last in person celebration in 019. When my brother started with his rapping and you just said, "Stop, it's the motherfucking remix." And I'm going like, "That's we are official." It started like those little things, like it's probably something that you just be like, "Okay, well, this is where this goes." So it's that kind of thing that's like happenstance to you, but it's everything to me. And
Oh yeah, yeah, man. It's part of the vibe. Man. I appreciate it, man.
oh
Appreciate it.
man, hell yeah. That thing that is like so small that might be just like, oh, that's just a thing. No, that's the thing. Do that shit. Do lots of that. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean
definitely
that was from Gerald came up with that. Him and Cisco, the
DJ
the title of the remix show and all that, and then obviously I've taken over the show since then because and obviously I lost all my people because of the pandemic,
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah, man, it's a joy. I still enjoy doing it, and I still enjoy hearing every once in a while when people are like, "Oh, yo, oh man," like every other week or so. I mean, because it's an overnight show, so I'll get
Yeah.
somebody will be like, "Yo, I heard you played like last week." Somebody hit me up was like, "You played Alcoholics all night," and it was like, "Yo, killer!" Like appreciate that. So
Absolutely.
it's stuff like that. I still kind of like gets me going. Like, yeah, all right. People know the music. It's still a joy. I still enjoy doing it. I kind of like enjoy doing. The show is pre-recorded now for you, for everybody
Yeah.
who's listening. So we're not live anymore in the studio because of the pandemic. They shut the studio down for overnights.
Right.
So I actually kind of enjoy as much as I kind of complain, but like being a little bit older and also because of the time slot, like it's just I kind of like appreciate that I could pre-record it. I miss my team,
Sure.
but being able to pre-record it allows me I don't lose a day out of my week trying to recover from going in there from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So that's kind of the benefit, the kind of the silver lining of not having to go in there anymore into the studio live. Um, so more productive, as we like to say.
For sure. But I think it
Yeah.
also kind of punctuates that there are errors. Like you think that something will be around all the time and not so. You know,
No, no, no,
if
no.
you were there and you were a part of the in-person experience, then you could cherish that. You know, I think that experience that we had at RFG is no less special to me than they did a whole documentary on Stretch and Bobito.
Right. And we were
Remember
similar too. It's funny,
at
like a lot of the
very
stuff very
yes.
similar. And so because we yeah, very similar, very obviously they broke a lot more artists than we did, but like yeah, very similar in terms of overnights and
Hmm.
the caliber of art. I mean, we interviewed all kind of people like MC Light and Skills, Mad
Yeah.
Skills. We had DJ Scratch up there, Qbert was there,
Yes.
DJ Cash Money was there, DJ Nabs,
Yep.
DJ Shakim, DJ Kemet, DJ Lord. We've had uh JC.
Yep.
Uh, man, I'm trying to think of all the DJ. Man, what's my man's name? Low Key was up there. Frosted
Right.
Root. We had my Dukes. Dilla's mom came through.
That's
We
right.
interviewed her.
That's right.
We had man, we've had so many people on this show, man. Like,
And y'all had Dave. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
we had Dave calling from
Yeah, he called in
A3C.
with D.
Yeah, yeah, Big D had him. We had Ralph McDaniel kept coming to the studio and super
That's right.
cool, man. And he was saying kind of, he kind of says a lot of the stuff that you said because we were playing joints, and when he got there, he was like, "Yeah, I was listening to y'all in the car," and it felt like a good cosign. And he was like, "Man, I was playing. It might have been something from De La Soul or
Right.
something from Pete Rock, but it was like from one of their later albums." And he was like, "Yo, that record's he's so banging." He's like, I just don't." Him being the pioneer that he is, and he's like, I don't understand. They should be playing this stuff more on the radio. And he's like, but on other sides of the dial is not on the radio. He's like, yo, I appreciate y'all playing this. He's like, this record's dope. I can't remember the record, but it's just stuff like that. To, to hear that from a pioneer like him was cool. And then I've had JC tell me that like several times, like, yo, man, like keep doing your thing. Like you're part of the fabric of all this.
Absolutely.
Uh, and he was like, I appreciate it because I know people when they're up, and then I'm pretty sure there's probably a younger generation of people like there's that show that's always on, but like when I be leaving the club, they be playing some wild, because that's how I grew up. Like I grew up listening to a lot of before I started DJing, and even when I was still DJing, I'd be up just flipping through the dial and hearing who's playing what, and like it'd be underground stations. So it would, you'd have Jam Pony on one side, and every once in a while on UM's radio station, when I could catch it, University of Miami's radio station, you catch a DJ cutting it up down there, and it'd be like I think his DJ was like Dundee, and he just cutting it up down there, and then every once in a while, Craze would be on the radio. Every once in a while, like then you'd hear like Felix Sama, which was one of the guys from the commercial radio side, Pound 96 in Miami, and he would get on there, and then you listen to his mix show every week, and then every once in a while you'd hear like, oh snap, he's playing Fushnikins, or he's playing,
Right.
he's playing, oh my God, he might get three on, but you'd be like, oh, because it was a commercial station, but in the '90s when they were still not fully adopting hip hop, so he threw Fushnikins, and he threw in House of Pain, and he threw it all, he threw in Leaders of the New School, he played Busta Rhymes verse, he played Scenario, and then he played whatever the heck after that. But it's just like that energy I still love to this day. That's still like when people like we've had head crack come up on the station.
That's right.
And head crack Hook, he's come up several times for like an anniversary show. But he's always said it to us. He was like, yo, he's like, I still don't, he's like, I love y'all because he's like, this is the only radio station I can turn the radio on and I hear Redman. Like, it's like,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's like a Redman's one of my favorite rappers. So like, you're almost gonna hear Redman every week on the show. You're gonna hear like Outkast and maybe something from Common, maybe from Tyler. I try to always be like, oh, this is where you turned that they were playing Redman. Like, and it'd be some random uh, album cut from Redman, but Redman got bars. I'm like, of course I'm gonna give you something from him because I'm gonna let you hear. The goal is to let you hear, like, hey, there's other ways to rap. There's other ways to do this hip hop thing,
Absolutely.
and not to like diss anybody, anywhere, anybody. Just kind of show people everybody who's in this and everybody who's not in this, just to be like, hey, it's not all shoot 'em up, bang bang. It's not all thuggery. Like there's cleverness in this. There's positivity in this. There's lots of creativity in this. There's a lot of different styles in this. Like you don't have to be this way to be successful. There's so many different ways to be successful in music. So like, and I purposely play the show like that so you can hear like, yeah, I might play Mobb Deep, who's as grimy as they get, but then I might throw on some Fugees after that, just to let you hear that there's different styles of the thing, and they're both as successful. Like Fugees uber successful just as much as Mobb Deep is, and I purposely do that. I purposely pride myself on trying to let people know and either re-educate or educate those who don't know. Like, yo, there's so many different ways to do music. Like there's no formula to it. There's like just do what feels good, and that's it.
Well,
That's kind of like my creed to the whole thing. Is just do what feels good. If it's good, people will find you. Like people, it doesn't matter. Like stop trying to fit yourself into a thing. Like like yeah, and stop trying to fit yourself into like, well, we'll make this trap record because, and you're not like, dude, you're not a trap rapper. Stop making trap records. Like it because it clearly sounds false. Like when you hear it, you're like, you can hear like, yo, you're not even supposed to be on this. This ain't your lane. Or if you're gonna be there, kill it. But most of the time, I've heard people do it. Like when we've interviewed artists, and it's usually a new and up and coming artists, and they always say that one thing when I'm talking to them, and they'll always be like, they'll always say something like, yeah, like they might be a hardcore boom bap artist or
right.
boom bap type of sound, or like they sing, or whatever. And then and it'd be like, yeah, man, I got a trap version or trap record or whatever. And I'm just and like, it's just like, okay, what does that mean? Is it good? Like, because you said it like you feel like you had to do this. Is it good? Like, don't do it just because you have to do it. Like, is it good? And I'm just like, that's not even you anyhow. Why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I've said that to multiple people that I've interviewed. I'm like, you don't have to do this. Like, nobody's telling you to nobody's asking for this stuff. Like, I know it's popular, but for everybody, for every Future and all those, Drake, and there's countless other guys who have been successful going the other way. Common's very successful. Um, Black Eyed Peas, they changed their whole sound, but like, I'm trying to think of other groups that are successful just being like hip hop artists.
Still,
The Roots, I'm trying to think of Redman's quite successful. There's just different places to be. Eminem,
I'm
um,
saying to have a gangstar career. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
gangstar type career.
Yeah, if
It's
you
not going
had
to be,
that career,
yeah,
it's like it's nothing
Primo, like
crazy, but
well
it's
respected.
hella respectful. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like just find your lane. Little Brother,
Little
uh,
brother. Another one. What you call him? Fonte. What you
Fonte,
call
yeah.
it? Brittany. Fonte just pulled up on Brittany. She saw MJQ, was like, come by the studio. And she was just holding it down by herself.
Mm,
And Fonte just came and just hit the buzzer. And
right.
was like, and she's like surprised that he showed up. It's like, yeah, I said I would. It's
Yeah.
that kind of magic that like you can't take that era for granted. But I will say, in the time that y'all were there in person, I really did appreciate that because I think it might be what compelled folks to have to put together that trap record when they really didn't need to. Because dealing with, the commercial side, it's like you're trying to find your end where you're
Right.
giving people permission. Like and like you said, up and coming artists, giving them saying it doesn't have to be this, it could be this. That
Yeah.
come on record that you used to spin for Bone Breaker Jones, that
Mhm.
actually I didn't even know it, and I slept 10 feet away from him. He's my brother. I didn't know that he was dealing with depression at the time.
Mhm.
And if you really listen to that song, that there are he has like lamentations where he's the whole you got to be kidding me. He's talking to God.
Right.
He's at that point where he's just pretty much wailing. There's a part in the song where he's like, you know what, the curtain closed, final call. He was contemplating suicide.
Oh wow.
I live with him. Like, you didn't say nothing. Like,
Right.
what do you say? How do you? So it's like those things that you could put out in music doesn't have to be. That's the furthest thing from bang bang shoot 'em up.
Right.
That's absolute vulnerability.
It's life. Yeah, it's life.
That's life, and it's getting
Yeah.
spit too. I get to hear from Rochelle Bloom. Hot
Yeah.
16 is what y'all
Yeah.
refer
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Love
Yeah,
her.
but
Hmm.
she's doing her thing. Sky Blue out of North Carolina, blurred rap, like black nerd rap. There's a lane for that. Yep, absolutely, and it
Yeah.
gets fun. Like
I guess I play some of that too. I guess I don't know. I
you
guess
you
Talib
you
Kweli's
done it.
considered nerd.
Uh,
I
I
play
think
everything.
I think Gerald probably was the lead on that, and I think that's just the platform of the remix
Yeah.
being welcoming because that is not the mode. I think people act weird, in a way that's weird to you because what you're doing is weird to the outsider. My experiences with radio has been exclusive. Yours is inclusive. Yours is kind.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah. I
Radio
mean,
ain't.
we're not playing. We're not playing for. We're not paying the bill. I mean, we are listener supported, so
That's right,
it's a different kind of vibe. So we're
and
not
it's
like every
appreciated.
minute
Yeah,
doesn't cost us, whatever the other side of the dial cost them to be on the air and whatever is at stake, in terms of ratings and all the people that they had. So it's a whole different game. That's a different side of the game. We're
absolutely.
not there for that. But like, as much as I say that, but like for where we're at, like a lot of careers have been birthed from that radio station.
Absolutely.
Like Little John came from there, and then I know DJ Drama used to DJ at RFG, and then
Yeah,
Nabs used to play there. JC used to DJ there.
that's right.
Rasta Root used to DJ there, the producer
Yeah,
of Fife's album. So it's a lot of people have come from there.
to come through.
I still like it. I know that's been like 20 plus years. People are like, man, you still there? I just like the music. I like doing what I do, how I do. It's not like complacency. It's just kind of where I'm at right now in my life. I just still like doing that. Like because it still allows me when I play out in like for parties or whatever, the playlist gets a little bit more limited. So like to be able to play something where large groups of people hopefully are still listening,
Yeah,
that I get to just play everything, and I get to it's just, you're kind of in my world when you're listening to, especially with the guys, the rest of everyone else not on the show. You listen to 3 hours of records, and I'm like, hey, we're listening to all this stuff together, like, and that's kind of how the way I'm like, yo, because it's especially with time being so limited daily. Like, how often do you get to sit in the car with your homeboys or your peoples and be like, yo, I got all this shit. You want to listen to all this stuff?
man.
and I,
You
and I'm
took me,
and I kind of
yes.
and that's kind of like how I'm like, oh, here we go. I got 3 hours of songs that y'all want to listen to all these fucking songs. I was like, I'm gonna play some old stuff. I'm gonna play a lot of new stuff, and I'm gonna play some stuff that with stuff that got a twist on it. That other DJs that I like in the country or around the world are remixing and they're putting their spin on it or whatever. Or I might remix some stuff on my own. Either like I'll remix it live or I'll kind of dabble with some production software. So I'll reproduce some stuff every once in a while. It's just fun, man. Like it's fun. It's a stress reliever. It's my outlet. It's still my joy, like to play radio, to play on the radio. It's there. That's what I like to do. And obviously, we've been talking a long time, almost 2 hours talking about this. But yeah, that's my
Absolutely,
thing, man.
man.
That's really my thing. Like, it's really, really, really what I enjoy to do. I like doing it. Um, I haven't figured out a way to kind of like go somewhere where like somebody pays me to do it.
Right, to
Like
monetize it.
go
Yeah,
to Shade 45 or something like that. I definitely don't want to go to commercial radio because I don't want anyone to restrict me. Um,
feel that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because I like of all the things, like I've always been like, I don't want anybody to, unless like that's what I'm going after. But as I'm still in the mode where I'm like, I don't want anybody to restrict my what I can play. And yeah, that's it.
Man, I think that as we wrap it here, um I think that you really enjoy I really enjoyed talking with you about it. I don't know that we've had a chance, because there just wasn't any context to do so. So I
Oh
really
yeah.
appreciate you, taking the invite here to talk, to have it recorded so that I could share it with other people. It's a real conversation that we needed. I want to give you the opportunity to tell us, what you got coming up, how we can support that, and where we can find you and stuff. So spit a little of that, and also any shout outs you want to give.
Oh, big shout out to my remix crew. Big shout out to my folks over at Rocksteady. Big shout out to my fam, Louis Spree, my brother Cliff, and big shout out to Ma. And then I'm on social media. I am DJ Yogi on Twitter and Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. Um, and then we have the remix listener groups fan page, and that's like by Invioli. I think you
Hmm.
still operate that. I'm not there as much.
I'm
Just
one
because
of
it's
the
just
admins. I'm one of
yeah,
them.
you're the admin. So if you want
Yeah,
in,
he is one as well.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but I post stuff there, and I post mostly my stuff on Instagram. So if you want to find out about what I'm doing with the show, um, and then on the other side of things, right now I'm working on my video editing side of things. I'm working on this 20th anniversary summer league documentary for NBA TV.
Mm.
Uh, for the Las Vegas Summer League, they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. So we're finishing that up, and that's going to air on June 5th. of and just talking about the history of the summer league and how it started, and and all the people who've been through there. So you're going to see like young Steph Curry, young Damian Lillard, and young, Kevin Durant, and when he was with the Sonics, and Jeremy Lin, and kind of like how his career started in the summer league. And it's just kind of a 1 hour special about how this thing started and how it became like just basically started with all these basically six NBA teams, and now all 30 NBA teams there, and it's like it's the must see ticket now in the summer. Uh, yep, so that's pretty much all I'm working on right now.
Man.
If you want to see like some of my video work, you can go to my website. I have a portfolio site that has just like some of my work up, and it's yoables.com. So that's YOABLES.com, and you can
Okay.
go on there and you can see kind of most of the work that I've worked on, video edit wise. And then going back to my Instagram page, if you go on my Instagram, go on my bio, go on my link tree, and then you can see, I think it also takes you to everything that I work on. So you could also go to all my mixes that I've done for the past, so I think it's like 5, 6, 7 years worth of mixes on there. And
Man.
it's all the episodes of the remix unedited are on there as well. So because I usually record the show, and sometimes it's when there's a lot of bleeps and a lot of records that I'm like, oh, I like this record. I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't have a clean version. So I got to go back and like edit the show.
Right, right. So now
Yeah,
that's at I am DJ Yogi on
I am
Instagram.
DJ Yogi on Instagram. So like, if you go in the bio and there's a link tree that has everything I just said, it will be in there. Like my Facebook page, my Instagram, I mean my Mixcloud, my website, everything will be under that link tree and off my Instagram, and you can just see everything that I've worked on. And yeah, man. My last little, I guess my little dig, um, to all the underground and like up and coming artists, make a clean version. Please
Help
make a
me
clean
help
version of
you.
your
Yeah.
records. Please make a clean version of your stuff. Please
Hey.
make a clean version of your stuff. How about I'm going to say it again. Please make a clean version of your music. Like,
You
huh?
reminded me of a piece of something that I have to include, because I know, we're pulling together music for you to do a music fest mix for us. But I gotta grab some clean versions. Some of the acts that we have on board just record clean. Like Sky Blue and Rochelle Bloom, they just
Right.
naturally record clean.
Right. Yeah, but
Uh,
there's a lot of people. It's just like, listen, I'm gonna explain this I've been doing this for a while.
do it.
Every record that I've got, underground or popular, when it's pressed, it always has a clean version for the most part, always has a dirty version, because you never know who's gonna get your record. Don't make it hard for people to play your music.
Hmm.
And then like, if you don't have like, there's like, I'm a member of Beat Junkies. Their record pool. I'm not a member of the Beat Junkies, but I'm a member of their record pool. And so I constantly, and I'm pretty sure they know as well. Like all the trap records, all the commercial records, they all come with a clean and a dirty. But all the boom bap underground, all those guys, I could say like 20% of those guys don't put clean versions on their records. And I'm going to say, if all these guys are complaining about how the industry is just shutting them out or whatever the hell they're saying on these records or whatever, you're shutting yourself out if you don't put a clean version. Because there's people like me that want to play them. If it's good, I may clean it up. But if it's just okay, I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah.
But if it had a clean version, I'm gonna give it a shot. I
Absolutely.
might just throw it on, and that's all I'm trying to say. Like, because I ain't gotta work to play it. But if you make me work to play it, I'm probably gonna be like, I ain't playing this. Just because you didn't think it was important to make a clean version for me, that I'm not gonna play it for you. And it's not being a jerk. It's just like there's only so much time in a day for me, and I don't have time to be cleaning up your lyrics and the ad libs and all the curse words that you're putting in your ad libs, and then there's all this stuff in the back. Like, yo, like just make a clean version, man. Like, and I'll play your record on the radio because I. Other than that, I don't know who you're making these records for. Simple as that, because there's still radio stations, and I know it pisses me off. It's more than anything, it really pisses me off. I'm like, there's so many good boom bap people out here, and it's just like, why don't y'all make clean versions? Like, I'm always hard on my guy Four Eyes because he actually, but I love him for it because he'll send me his album. He just released Ronald Reagan Sold Crack, by the way.
Right,
And
yeah.
but I have to actually hit him up because he didn't send me the clean version for it. But like, it's key, like, because you don't know who's gonna get it. I actually need to hit him up after we have this conversation. Be like, yo, I need clean version of this album so I can start playing it. Like, because I want to play it, but I'm like, it's got a lot of stuff on there that I just, Long story short, that's it. Boom
It
bap
be
artists, all artists, make clean versions.
I wanted to I couldn't reach. I tried to reach because Four Eyes is one of those people who has always been gracious. When we would have the remix celebrations, like a
Yeah,
lot of times, like I would bring my own chair. I remember one time I was getting out the van and he just
yeah,
grabbed a chair and just started. I was like, I'm almost like taking it back, like, oh no, you're Four Eyes, you don't have to carry it. Like, man, give me the chair.
yeah.
Like, you know
Good
what
for
I'm
us, good
saying? Like,
peoples, man. That's
you
my
good
dude. That's
people. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
he's
what
good
I
people.
tried to reach out, but I don't have any. I think that
Just hit him on IG, and then y'all connect. Just hit him on IG.
I did. I'll try it again and stuff like that. But yeah, he's certainly somebody who I revere as an artist and would want in on this type of thing because he's got that vibe, that intersection of being so mega talented that I'd expect you to be an asshole, but then it's surprising how much of an asshole that you're not. That's that
That's
intersection.
a whole other conversation
Oh
about
gosh, yes, but
about that whole because you reached a certain point. Like, I get it where people don't want you to waste their time, so that's why
sure.
some of that is defense mechanism, but some of it is like, you really ain't got to be like that. You know
You
what I'm saying?
don't.
Most of the time, it's just
Yes,
really, no, you really ain't got to be like that. Because I've met, there is a thing about controlling your time, but there's also a thing about, you know, you don't have to treat people like that. Like,
no.
you can just, there's a way when you don't want to be with people. There's a
It's that
way
balance that you're
to
talking about.
huh?
It's that balance that you're talking about, like
No,
being
it's
kind,
just a way.
but
It's just a
not being a
way to be
sucker.
like, hey, I need to move on, or hey, I need to da 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 da. Like,
Yeah,
you don't have, because you don't know who you're talking to. You never know who you're talking to. So like, you just treat everybody properly, like kind, and then
yeah,
the people will show, whoever these people are. Man, you may never meet these people ever again, but or there could be a situation where there's like, you're in a, like, you could be in a marketing thing, and like they're looking to do an ad, and they're like, oh, I need this song. Yo, I remember so and so and so and so and so. Super cool when I met him, man. And he got this fucking record that's just fucking actually pretty fucking dope.
absolutely.
But if you were a dick to me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, yeah, fuck that dude. No, no, no.
Yeah, or just not even bring it.
Huh? What?
It's that balance of being kind but not being a sucker.
Yeah, don't
That's
be a
all you're
sucker. Like,
doing, just balancing it.
yeah, yeah. There's just that. Like, yo, just be chill, man. Like, be chill. Yeah, I'm just saying it because I've met a lot of like artists, DJs, all kind of people. And it's funny, like the ones that are like uber successful, dude,
Yeah,
super cool.
that's right.
And I'm like, wow, like, oh wow. And then the ones that are like, man, like, all right, like you hold down this club spot or whatever. Like, all right, it's
Dude,
cool. And like, hey, why are you such a dick?
it's
Like,
Yogi. It's a fight for me not to call names, but there are
no, I don't
people
never.
like
I'm not gonna
you
say any
have.
name. I don't even remember the names. I just remember like the feelings and the
I'm
people in
like,
certain situations. And I'm just like, man, why? Like, and when it was young, especially when I was younger, I didn't understand like that. Like, I was just like, man, that's weird. Like, why?
why
And
do
I'm like, why are they acting like that? So I just thought for a long time, part of the reason why, like, I was kind of always turned off by commercial radio and all that was kind of like not all of them, but I felt like there was a large portion of them that kind of acted that way. And maybe it was just a fear, or maybe it was just a whatever. They're dealing with their own shit. Like looking back on it, where I was just like, man, man, what's going on with y'all? Like, chill out. Like why so like crabby all this, or whatever the hell the thing was. And you go back and you hear some of the stories about some of these people, and you're like, oh, okay, you were dealing with whatever. But it's still at the same time, you're like, man, like you really sucked as a person.
That's right.
Yeah, like kind of like, man.
And it affects people. I mean, I talked to several peers. I think I was talking to Alex the other day about
Uh-huh.
it. Like, like I'd be a fan of somebody who I know they might
Right.
have 20 other fans.
Right.
And matter of fact, they might have 20 and I'm number 19.
Right.
So if you're at that stage, there's no reason for you not to give audience to your fans. I love the movie That Thing You Do. When they first got started, there was one guy that always showed up at all their shows, and
Hmm.
one of the band members was like saying, "Hey, it's our fan." Like
Hmm.
he recognized like, "Hey, this
That's
guy is
funny.
like the guy that's coming to pay attention to us. We
Right.
should treat them like with some level of stardom." I've
Right.
found that
Right.
embrace more times than not in the time that I've been dealing with you with the squad at the remix and the stuff that gave rise to what we're doing with Ojones Music Fest.
Right.
All of that I've encountered that, but sometimes I'd run across somebody who is at a level where they could be gracious to fans. Now, if you're Beyonce, I understand it is actually dangerous for Beyonce to go randomly hug people.
No, she
But
ain't gotta hug me. I don't even want, even if I were like low level, I don't need you hugging me. But like, hey, okay, thanks for being a fan.
yeah, something
That,
like that. But I
that's
mean,
all you gotta, that's really all, like, oh my God, thank you so much. And that's really kind of,
like why
I think
wouldn't
what
you
most
be there?
people want. Like, I don't even want, like, that's cool. That's it, man. Like that, I think that is enough. I mean, obviously there is like
For sure.
ridiculous what
But
fans
if
get, but
you're
but that, like, I've been in situations where like even that, it's like, dog, I just, like I just bought your record. I'm holding your record.
right,
I just wanted to say, hey, I'm a big fan, and that's it. And then like, oh, okay, like, man, really?
yeah, could you not be a dick?
Yeah, like, could you not be a dick? Like, just don't. You gotta be like, damn, like, or like, hey, I heard your set, man. Your set was bomb, man. It was so dope. And like, man, like that's the response. All right.
So now we buried the lead. I don't want. I'll end it with this, y'all. All of the artists, especially the ones that are aligned with me, because now my skin is in the game. Because he done told me and he told y'all, artists that are with the Jones Music Fest, and I'm gonna put it in the email directly to you. Send in clean versions.
Clean versions,
Help
man.
him help you.
Yeah,
If you have
because
not,
I put that mix. Yeah, because I put that, if I when I do the mix, I'm gonna
yeah.
probably make it. Like, I don't know how you want me to do it, but I may end up using the mix as like a segment on the remix show and just do an hour of that.
Woo!
Yeah, but
Dude,
like if it's not clean, I'm just gonna be like, well, this is just a different mix that I'm gonna have to do. But if you give it to me as clean records, then I could be like, oh, I could make this a whole, like, one of the blocks when I do the show, and it's easy. But
man,
it's even easier when everything's clean. But when
I
it's not
don't think
clean,
I'm
it's like
I'm
now
not
you're making me work, and I'm gonna be like,
I'm not gonna tell a chef how to cook. I eat what that Queen Latifah movie Last Holiday when John Depardieu was the chef. He went in and his big frustration was with everybody at the resort always customized the hell out of his food. He
right,
took joy in cooking, but they would
right,
say, "Oh, could you do this without the cream? Could you
right,
do it without the?" Nah. Queen Latifah come through and she says, "However you cook it will be fine."
right.
Same way with you, Yogi. The biggest thing that I've enjoyed about all of the things that you done put on is I had shit to do with it. By the time that you come out with it, I'm like, Yogi serve it up how Yogi serve it up, and that's how I enjoy it.
Oh,
I'll
I
start
appreciate it.
messing it up if I start trying to direct what you do naturally. That being the case, again, not bearing the lead, artists, anybody who's sending music through me, it ain't even got to be through the fest, but send a clean version because if I send it and then you send it to me, I thought Yogi was your man. How come he ain't spinning it?
Right,
He
right.
sent me a clean version and he could not. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So he's kind. He's very kind. He ain't a sucker. So,
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
I may clean it up. Like if I really like it, I'm gonna clean it up. If I
sure,
don't
if
like
you
it,
really, yeah, you
yeah. But
reserve
if I
the right.
kind of like it, like I said before, if I kind of like it, I may not clean it up because I ain't got time. I just don't have the time sometimes, and I'm like, that's your job. You know what I'm saying? It's really, it's all but another hour in the studio or another hour in front of your laptop. Make a clean version. It's so easy to make one, man. So like I could do it. It's easy, like it's easy, but it's not. Like because I don't, if I have to do that for 50 songs, that means that's an hour plus
That's
now that I'm spending not DJing because I'm editing your songs. That's like, I'll do it, but it's stupid, but I'll do it. But it's stupid because you just sent it to me. Like you just
and
sent it to me. You want me to play it, but like, you want me to play, like send me the clean version.
I
I'm
am
on the
hearing.
radio.
I'm already hearing your decision process and how records drop out of the mix. You be like, I'll do it,
Yeah,
but it's
like
stupid. I'll do
it's
it, and then more. It's stupid, and then it's gone.
yeah, and then it's gone. And then
Yeah.
I'm not playing this. And then I'm like, forget it. Like, cause now I gotta edit this. Plus I gotta figure out I gotta edit it. And then if I gotta edit it, then I'm like, I'll play it, but there's no but after that. Usually if I edit it, I like it.
That's right.
Like that simple as that. But if I don't, it's just so much stuff, man. It's kind of like one of those things like, just make it easy. Make it easy for the people you're dealing with. And I'm not and
Right.
that simple as that, man. Like I just like keep it, clean the records up. Um, yeah, because and I'll say it. I'll reiterate it again. Like every single trap record that comes out, good or bad, gets a clean version and a dirty version. Every single one of them that I've seen.
Yeah.
And the only record I can't, the only there's a few, but at least off the top of my head, the only trap record I haven't seen is that Gucci. You don't love me, Gucci. You don't. I have not seen the clean version for that. Like
Okay.
I had actually had to make that on my own, but like but it's like all those trap records, all those bass records, all the like all the records that people are like, oh, I don't like that, or like it's just commercially produced or whatever. Like they got clean versions, and that's half the battle on how they get on the radio is because they made a clean version. So
Well,
like,
that's real
and
game though, because you're all you're doing is just setting the conditions for the help that you can provide and are more than willing to provide.
right,
That's
yeah,
all.
just make
Because
if
Gucci Man
anything, just
says,
make a clean version and
yeah,
make it like clean. Like, and when I say clean, obviously, like we're commercial radio. I mean, we're community radio, so like some things slide a little bit, but like, like if you got like, it's not just the seven deadly, but it's also like, lewd, weird, lyrical just weird sentences about
right.
like weird sexual things. Like, like, hey,
I mean,
you might
there's
want
only so far that you can go. And I mean, the thing about it, even though
yeah.
the station's stated platform is to give audience to people who are denied access and other,
Right, 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 right,
I
right,
get
right.
it,
Yeah,
but at the
yeah.
same time, if Yogi ain't spinning your, here's my cosign. If he can spin it, he will. But
I'll
if
try
he
to get it
can't,
on.
he ain't,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's not him. You know, and if
yeah.
you don't, you could don't bring that to Yogi. You bring that to me. We'll
Yeah,
talk
but
about
I'm not gonna hate. I'm like if OJ was sending me, I'm gonna play it. It'll get played at least once. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it not
That's
just
very kind.
cause. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
play it at least once. If like I was like, all right, cool, yeah, all right. I'm not the end all be all because sometimes I might not like it, but I'll play it and people be like, yo, what was the da da da? There is that. So I ain't gonna act like
Wow. Okay.
I'm
I
the
see.
I'm the aficionado on music or whatever. Like I play what I
Okay.
like, obviously, but it's stuff for people. I've played some stuff and I'm like, like so and so sent me this. I'm like, all right, I'll put it on, whatever. And then the phone start ringing, like, yo, what was, so that record, blah blah. I was like, what record? That one you played. I was like, you like that? They're like, yeah, man, that thing was crazy. Man, I was like, oh, okay, all right, all
Oh,
right.
so sometimes you're a gatekeeper and sometimes you're a conduit. Got it.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
whatever. I hate that gatekeeper term, but yeah, whatever. Like, but
Okay, not you. But
no, I
like
mean, I am
red
what I
alert and
am. I
Kid
mean,
Capri
yeah,
are
I
gatekeepers.
have a lot of power and influence if anything, but like, I don't. I just half the time I'm playing stuff on the show, I'm playing stuff that I like, and I'm playing stuff, or I'm playing stuff that I can get to, and
Gotcha.
then you know, obviously, we're not there to be all like, hey, you know, so and so's album just came out. Go ahead in stores and buy it today. But like, I might back announce it, or if you call me, or like, hey, at least it got played, so if somebody's in the car, they can Shazam it, and they can then now it's like, yo, or if they don't know, I've gotten that every once in a while. If they couldn't Shazam it, I'll have people like hit me up on the DM and be like, yo, what was that joint you played at the top of the show? What was that song you played after Biggie? And if I can remember, I'll be like, or most of the time I will backtrack and be like, hold on, give me a little bit of time, and I'll go back and be like, oh yeah, that was so and so and so. You know, it might give me a day or two, or if I'm in front of my computer, I'll be like, yo, that was so and so. You know, here's the song. Either like you can buy it, or if I got the file, you know, depending on how bad they want it, I might give you to you. Be like, yo, here's the song. Like, enjoy it. Like, if you're a DJ, spin it. Like, spin it. So I do that as well. If you
Man,
interact, yeah, I'll do that. Because
absolutely.
you could tell when people are like, yo, that like, man, that record changed my life. Man, Joe was so crazy. And like, yeah, here. Because that's how records blow up.
That's right.
That's how record, like, on DJ side, because usually, you know, like, that's how records will blow up. That's how, because like, you know, like, that Jazzy Jeff and all his DJs, his the guys that he's in his circle of DJs, you know, there was a stretch there where they were all kind of hanging out together, and there were certain things that Jazzy Jeff was playing. Then all of a sudden, you started hearing everyone else playing it, but those were all the people that were in his circle. You're like, oh, it's like
That's right.
they were copying each other's hard drives, and they were sharing stuff like, yo, what was that? You know, you played this thing on them, you know, and it's like that. It's like that, and then that's what, you know. But it's always been like that. It's always been like, I guess it's my last. It's always been like that. It's like, you know, back in the day, it used to be this uh Barry White King Kong theme uh record, and it's the dun 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 dun, and it's all like I'm trying to think of the DJs. They used to play at the Pac Jam that in Miami, and it was the I forgot the name of Two Live Crew's DJs
Oh,
at the
okay.
time. But
So the
it's
ghetto
like
style DJs?
the ghetto style DJs. It would be
Yeah, yeah.
they would get on there and do their Miami thing, where it'd be like one time, get it, it. You know, like, so like basically the way Luke raps on the records is the way the Miami DJs, inner city Miami DJs DJ.
Oh,
Yeah, so like Jam Pony and the
right,
ghetto style DJs,
right.
Uncle Al. That's a whole, like, when you
Uncle
go on
Al.
YouTube, that's a whole style. Like, I've
Yes, it
never
is.
mastered that style, but it's like it's like Kid Capri on steroids.
Oh,
Cause
sure.
minus the scratching, but it's like they do that whole thing where it's like they change, like they're basically like changing the lyrics. Like, it's like once upon a time not long ago, and then he'll open the mic and be like, you know, I walked down the street and slapped up. And then you know, like,
Yeah,
he's changing as you know, Slick Rick, and it's people, it's a routine. It's hilarious when you're really good at it, and
right.
then you're just filling in the words and changing the words out, and people just be like, and then some of it just becomes like part of their routine. So like, they always know when Slick Rick comes on that they're gonna say this. When this line comes on, and they're gonna say this. You know, like, it's just a bunch of stuff. And so Jam Pony was really good at that, and they were also. But anyhow, so going back to that Barry White record, there was always something when that came on, and then they'd be like, slime, slime. The DJ would get on when that dun 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 dun, and he'd be like, slime, 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 slime. You know, like, and you know, but it's like, when you DJed in Miami back then, you had to always play that record. Like, when you were rocking part, depending, like, if it's that type of crowd, play that record. And then if you did your best impression of slime, or the crowd knew to say slime, 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 or whatever, you know, it's just kind of it's all because one DJ did it. So now they're like, oh, this works. Like it works in every room. So like, hey, so like long story short, to all that is saying you never know where your records end up. So like make clean versions, dirty versions, give acapellas if you can, because they might like your song, the singing or the rapping, but they might not like your beat. But they're like, I'm gonna remix this because I like the song, but I'm gonna just remix this and and then it just takes a whole other
Mm,
life.
true.
Yeah, yeah, it takes a whole. I've seen that a lot. Like there's people remixing Doja Cat records, but they're putting hip hop beats on it because
Right.
like because Doja Cat's dope, but like people are not really a big fan of the production, but they'll be like, put this on something else. And then now it's like, yeah, this is hitting now. So just little pointers, like just
Yeah.
give a DJ pack, man, a full DJ pack.
Gotcha. So then now the clean version, that's like the minimum entry for Yogi to help.
That's the
But
minimum
if you
entry.
just,
Yeah, I mean, we
yeah,
could
if
do
you
it on. We
doing a
could
whole
split it all
DJ
up.
pack, yeah.
Yeah, but give a full DJ pack, because we can on Serato. I could split it up into stems, but it's not always clean. It's always sound great as if you get if you give me a studio produced instrumental, then like, oh yeah, it's way better.
Well, folks,
Hey, I got a lot of other little nuggets too. The other thing is
yeah,
not all the time. I know not every song has to start like that, but put an 8-bar intro on your record,
8 bar
like
intro. Like,
like 8 bars or 4 bars. Like, give me some room to mix the record.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, like put four
Like,
bars of instrumental at
okay.
the top, 4 bars on the back, 8 bars on the back, 16. Like, let me mix. You got to give me room to mix the record. If you're just starting on the one, or you're starting, or you got the stupid interlude at the top, and then the record starts, I'm like, yeah, that's cool for your album, but the shit sucks, and I got to play this in the club because I can't freaking start. I can't mix I can't transition the record.
Man, so many times. Um, some of the great records, Illmatic, Life's a Bitch. That is
Yeah,
like
but that
one of
starts
my
on that has a 8-bar intro.
right, but then at the end where you just have his dad, Oladaro, just playing like the I guess the horn or
Yeah,
whatever stuff at the end, and it's just running the I forget the source song at the and they just
keep
yeah,
coming.
keep
Yeah,
coming I'm in
yeah.
out of my life. Yeah. But you just
Mm-hmm.
keep looping that. And I always think of that like the next MC, like leave enough space to where if I'm so inspired by what, AZ and Nas did that I just like, it's my chance. Like,
Right.
you leave enough space there. The thing that's always frustrating when you're on the other end of the dial is that the on air personality is going to come in and talk over it, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, but that's good for them too. I mean,
It
if they
is
got
good for
room to
them. It
talk, yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It lets them do what they're gonna do. But that's why I
yeah,
like, mix shows and stuff because you're giving them the space to mix. Or if they leave it open, especially at live or whatever, I always envision like, an artist reaching down and saying, like, hey, you, yeah, I see you've been mouthing off. Come on, do
yeah.
this, get in here.
Right.
Yeah, it just I don't know, that part where you just letting it breathe, I guess to
Let
say
let it breathe. Yeah, like on the back, or
do
like if you
that.
or
So
make
okay,
two.
that's another nugget.
If you're really in the studio, really make it. Like make another. If you can't, if you want it to be a certain way on your album, but then if you're releasing it to DJs, make a version like this is the album version. It just starts, coming off because maybe you have a skit and then the song just starts coming
Right.
right out of the skit. But then when you're sending it to DJs, send a version that has an 8-bar intro on it, or has an 8-bar intro, 8-bar out, 8 bars out. You don't have to, but it'd be nice
No, this
if
is
you
good
did
to
that.
me.
Like, yeah, it's just, but I mean, because oftentimes it's like I said, if it's good, if the record is good, somebody's gonna do it. But but as someone that's like starting out, if you do it on your own, then you're like, oh, okay. Like especially if you know your record, you got confidence in your record. Like, yo, this record, I like this as a strong boom bap record, or it's just a strong record, whatever genre it is. I'm gonna send it to you with 8-bar intro, instrumental intro, and then boom, it drops it. Whatever, it helps. Because now you're like, oh, he sent me this joint with an 8-bar intro. He already knows this good, where this needs to go. Like, or he's got a DJ in his crew that told him to do this.
I I think that I've just kind of stumbled onto that. I wasn't able to give it a name, but now that you say it, it makes a whole lot of sense. To have the 8-bar intro, to leave some space at the end.
Leave some
Um,
space.
you
If
know,
you look at all the classic '90s records,
right.
they all play like that. They all
Oh,
boom,
sure.
boom, 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 boom. I'm humming "Represent," so it's like boom, boom, boom. Because you don't know the time. Represent, represent. And it's so now
Right.
it's got an 8-bar intro, and you just made it super easy for everyone who actually wants to play this. Now they can transition this on the back end of something else. Like, but it's just I get a lot of records now for some reason they don't play like they'll start on a one or some weird symphonic thing going on at the top,
I
and
think
then
that too, that
it just
people are
drops.
probably scared of breaking the 3.5 minute barrier, because I
Oh,
think,
the two and a half. It's two and
yeah,
a
two
half.
and a half now. Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. Over the
But
course
that's
of
all
a song,
part of it.
yeah, it is. But I
That's
mean,
all. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. So 2 minutes of lyrics, 8 bars is only what, like 10 seconds.
I know,
I think that's roughly 10 to 15 seconds.
but
So that's not, huh?
you end up drumming, like, I mean, well, people are driving home that, like, I got to get in, get out, like, it's almost like we're attention
Yeah,
deficit, with
yeah.
the
It kind of
time.
sucks. Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And I think I remember, gosh, I every now and again I go on YouTube and I find SOS band, Just Be Good to Me.
Hmm.
That song is 11 minutes and change. You know what I'm saying? Or the original Sugar Hill Gang, I think, was like 13 minutes. The
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that either, though.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
Yeah,
But
so sorry word. Yeah,
in
I
that
think that was kind of
time,
like the. Yeah,
coming into
I
the
didn't even. I
early
never
80s.
liked it. I never liked it.
But
I
if you're
never
doing
liked.
the
Yeah, huh?
but if you're doing the early 80s, and you're going, like, if a song could last 10 minutes, then coming into late 80s into the 90s,
Mm,
KRS One is like, funky, funky, funky hit records, no more than 4 minutes and some
right,
seconds.
right.
Then you coming into I think when I saw the Rock Wild, I was like, oh, it's over already?
It's
Like
yeah,
that.
it's two verses, and then
Yeah. So
I think
then,
he said that I think he said there was a longer version, and then Method Man, I feel like on YouTube, I think he talks about it. He was like, there was a longer version. They submitted it, and then they edited it down. Def Jam edited it down because there was another. I think there were three verses because there's only. I think that song's like two verses, or it
right.
might be one long verse, and then it hits the chorus, and then they're done.
Song itself is only 2.5 minutes, but
It's 2.5 minutes, but
to
it's
your
perfect.
point, though,
It's
it
perfect.
still has that part that you need. That
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
still do it. So
yeah,
even if a short, if to your point, a short song can still include what the DJ needs to get there.
yeah.
So that's instructive, because what's the name? Lil Uzi Vert. I just want to rock. I always think that's the song that starts but never ends. Like, it just. But
Oh yeah,
that's
that thing's more like a breakbeat to me. Yeah,
exactly, that's what I'm like. Okay, but
yeah,
at least if you're mixing, I don't know if that's enough time for you, but it's a lot of air at the beginning. If you're
yeah, yeah.
if you're gonna do something, if that's a song that you want to do something with, it kind of follows that rule. I think it's really short, but
It's no rule. I mean, it's no rule. I mean, 2.5 minutes is kind of there's obviously there's songs that are longer, but I don't think it's a full on hardcore rule.
yeah,
But it's just kind of like people would prefer that. But if the song grooves, then it grooves. It might be longer than that. It's just if it feels good, it feels good. But sometimes, but it seems like in this day and age, it seems like it's like the songs are about 2.5 minutes. Like there's no third verse. It's usually two verses.
Yeah.
and it's kind of the intro, verse, chorus, done. Like it's usually,
Yeah.
but and it just might be the day and age that we're in because like
See?
some of those old records, like Frank, was it Frankie Lyman? That itsy bitsy, that little tenement, that tee
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that 2 minutes. That record's a 2 minute record.
Is it? Huh.
Yeah. Like some of those records, you're like, damn, that's it. Like it's literally like they sing the no, that's Rockin' Robin, but um
Right. Right.
I'm thinking of the other one, Frankie Lyman with the itsy the something I can't think of how it goes. Super short record. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
those records from those Motown, super short, but there's some of them that are super long.
Right.
And some of them are like ending. I don't know if that's because it's that the way they pressed it on the record, and that's why they're short. But like you hear it, and you're like, "Damn, record's ended already. It just started." Like, so I don't know, and I don't know if it's just like they had to be, like the time that they were living in. Like maybe like just get these records. They all got to be 2.5 minutes because that's how they fit on the clock for the radio station. So like they can do the math easier, so they know when to hit their commercial breaks. There's all kind of reasons why things are the different times that they are. Obviously, like the stuff in the '80s were probably longer back then because they're like their groove records and their club records. So like you have this long groove in there where people would just kind of, like when the whatever they're doing in the club, their drugs or alcohol is kicking in, so they just want to groove. And so you've been in a spot where like the right record's on, and it's like, and you're like, man, I hope this record just doesn't end because it just sounds so dope on a banging that sound system. And you're like, yeah, just let this joint rock. So that's where sometimes those 11-minute versions just work because it's like your drinks just kicked in, the girl you dancing with, it's just grooving. And you're like, you're like, yeah, I can stay here for a while. I went to the Claremont once. They got this DJ there, this white dude, old school white dude. He tell old school. He looked like Player Supreme. And he got on the mic. He started his set, and he was just like, what up, whatever. I'm such and such and such, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, all right. He's funky. He threw one joint on. I'm like, okay, and then he threw on. I want to say like, uh, got to give it up, Marvin Gaye,
Mm.
but like a super extended version of it.
Okay.
And the whole room was, you could just see like everybody was just like, oh, I've heard this song before, but I ain't never heard this version. Like it grew out this much, and that shit was rocking. Like, and it just boom, the whole time, and it just had all. It was so dope. I don't know how, but it felt like the song lasted like 20 minutes, but it didn't bother me. Like, so it just stuff works where they work. You know what I'm saying? Like long records like that work perfect like a roller skating rink.
Ah,
Like, yeah,
gotcha.
when you had a roller skating rink and yeah, they throw on an extended version of like SOS band record and it's just
Yeah.
boom, 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 and they hit that long breakdown and that's when the skaters start boom, 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 because they ain't there for the lyrics, they're there for the groove. And they just like, oh, okay, got me a dope beat, the groove too. Like, okay, let's get skater
Okay.
on the ring, yeah. So that's place and time for some of these records.
Okay.
Place
Well,
and time.
I want to wrap
Yeah.
with I want you to give the blur because I'm thinking I might snip it out just as a bit of wisdom for not just the artists for this music fest, but just going forward artists that want to submit to you. Just the ultimate wish list. I know you're gonna start with make a clean record, but just bullet point it and say like, hey artist, help me help you. Just tell them that.
Hey, artists, what up? It's DJ Yogi, man. Help me help you. Of all things I ever look for when I'm looking for records, since I play on the radio, make a clean version. Give me an 8-bar intro and give me an 8-bar outro if you got it. That means it allows me to transition your record a little bit better. And that's it, man. And just make good stuff. I don't care what it is. Just make it bang.
Make it your best.
Yeah, make it
Absolutely.
the best.
MC Light did that one time. A homie of mine that he kind of part time bouncer, part time DJ. And he would kind of be a driver as well for artists that were coming in to do stuff in Birmingham. MC Light was hanging out, just before a show she was gonna do, and he was driving for her. And
Mhm.
somebody came up, recognized an opportunity, and put a tape in her hand. She says, "What am I holding here?" He says, "Oh, that's me." He says, "This you?" She says, "Okay." She says, "I'm gonna listen to it. I thank you for sharing this with me. Tell me
Mhm.
something. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think the music on here is? Be honest." And he says, "You know what? I say it's a strong 8." And then she gave it back to him.
Mm.
She says, "Why would you give me an 8?" And I'm going like, that kid, I don't know whether he took that as like, wow, Light's an asshole. I don't know whether he took it that way, but
Right.
that was so instructive when he told me the story. He started to explain. I said, up. You ain't got to
Yeah.
explain shit. That was
Yeah,
that was
you
a
gotta have yeah,
Jedi.
you gotta have some even if you're faking it, you gotta like when you're dealing with stuff like that, you gotta show some confidence.
Well, even more so,
Yeah.
I get the humility and stuff like that, but at the time when you put it out there, I would say as a cautionary tale, be careful, because there are probably artists who are out making music, making money right now, stuck with songs that they didn't really feel. It's like they
Right. I
kind
mean,
of,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
this is countless. So I mean, there's
yeah.
that too. But I mean, but don't let a story like that, like MC Light saying that to you be the end of
Oh no,
your
definitely.
yeah. Because I
Oh,
mean, there was that story with I just learned about it recently about Bob James
hmm.
and Nautilus. That Nautilus, the sample for Daytona 500, the dun dun
Okay,
dun
got you,
dun
got you,
dun dun
got you,
dun 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 dun. That was a B side. They needed one more record for the album,
got
for
you.
whatever album that appears on. They needed one more record, and he like was kind of screwing around and was kind of he made that record. It's very like when you hear. Have you heard Nautilus? You know this? Do you know? Are you familiar with Nautilus?
I know the sample that you're talking about. I haven't heard
Yeah,
this.
it's very like it's super dope. Like pull it up after we talk, and
Yeah.
it's super dope record. Like, but very jazzy, but very like has an experimental feel to it. But it's still funky as hell. And I guess he was just screwing around and then made that record.
No,
And
I think
what
you're right.
turns out to be one of his most sampled, one of his most between that Live at the Mardi Gras, which is the Peter Piper sample, and Nautilus are like his two. Nautilus was like a mistake, a B side, and so like there's a lot of that in hip hop and music in general, like B sides that like people who thought like, I'll just throw this on there. And that's the one that people love. So like,
Gotcha.
don't feel bad when MC Light says your shit or you think your shit's an 8. Just put it out.
Oh,
Because you never
definitely.
know.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
yeah, don't be paralyzed like
Don't
whether
be
the
paralyzed by that either.
analysis.
Like, because she might not know. Like, she don't know. And like,
Oh, I've seen
yeah,
that
I
happen
would
too.
just keep, shoot as many shots as you can. I would say that would be my last little
Yeah.
piece of nugget. Like, just shoot as many shots as you can because you'd be shocked. Like your audience might not be in the States. Your audience might be in Japan. Like people might not mess with you here when you put something out, and all of a sudden, like there's a pocket of people in Korea that love you. There's a pocket of people in Africa that like, yo, we heard this record that we love it. You're like, oh my god, we just love it. Like you just never know, man. Especially now with how the world is so interconnected. Like, man, you could become a hit anywhere. Like so, I wouldn't give up. And also, like the other last piece of advice would be like, um, be non-traditional. Like try to get your stuff on TV, try to get your stuff on movies,
Right.
try to get your stuff on
Video games. Yeah.
video games because there's a lot of bread there. There's a lot of money and all that, man. Try to get your stuff on TV shows. Like all these I mean, you saw Ozark, how many songs Ozark's licensed. Um
Absolutely.
yeah, it's like just there's a whole industry for that. There's a whole market for that. And like like a lot of these producers now are as it comes to hip hop, they're hip hop heads.
Yeah.
Because there's and it's not just black people. There's white people and black people that are they're listening to all the stuff that we're listening to, all the hip hop stuff, all the R&B stuff, and like they're always looking and like, oh yo, this. this is dope, or it feels like this. I'm a kind of I kind of like, or like I just rock with this record, like I like it, so I'm gonna put it on. So you'd be surprised, man, because I've seen a lot of people like who work from my current job, like I've seen them use Logic, that rapper Logic.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen them use Eminem. They've used Jay-Z. I've seen them also use. Speaking of Four Eyes, NBA TV used Four Eyes on a spot,
Nice.
and yeah, they used him on a promo campaign a few years ago. Him and Chaos.
Man,
So
commercials too. Um,
yeah,
I remember in the '90s, them St. Ives commercials. I never
Saint
liked
Eyes,
it.
Sprite.
Never liked
Uh,
it. But those Sprite, what, and the shoes, the AIs, some of the dopest rhymes. Like when they would just
yeah.
rap into the squeak of sneakers and the swoosh of nets and
Hmm.
the dribble of
Hmm.
basketball. I'm like,
Was that the
this snap.
Jadakiss?
Yeah,
Jadakiss thing? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
of this snap. There's so many. You're right. There's so many ways in.
It's
In
so many
fact,
ways in, man.
Simon Says. I would not have known about Simon Says if it wasn't for the what was it, lugs, the boots, where he did
Oh, really?
I didn't know about that. And it's crazy because I grew up watching Godzilla. And it was
Yeah,
like
apparently
I heard
the guy who made Godzilla didn't know that Simon Says existed.
that. I'm sure he didn't. I mean, but
No.
that's it's crazy how that's how I discovered. I was watching Nitro. I was watching wrestling over in Tuscaloosa, and that commercial came out selling the shoes,
Hmm.
and then we back into the music showing up on BET and on MTV,
Hmm.
and then I think later on that weekend, 2 o'clock in the morning, that sample comes up in the movie, and I'm throwing shoes at my brothers like, wake up, hey, yo, wake up, we're listening. And of course, it's the movie, and you're gonna use that again every time Godzilla comes out the water.
Hmm.
And they're like, oh shit. So it's like we should have heard that first, and then the music and then the commercial, but it was the exact opposite. But it's another way in. There's
Yeah,
what
there's a lot of different ways. Yep, yep.
Dude, well, dang it, Yogi. I At some time we got to put a pin in it. There's so much wisdom. I can only imagine that if you were doing the show live and, and you had just come home at 6, got a bowl of cereal, got enough time to get frustrated with a nap, and then woke up and jumped in this interview room with me, I'd have wore you out. But
No, you
still,
good. You good.
3 hours and change of your time, which is very valuable. I certainly appreciate it.
Oh, you're
I
welcome,
want
man.
to
No problem.
thank
Excuse
you.
me.
I
No,
want
no
to thank
problem.
you for it. Yeah, and I mean, so thanks to Yogi, y'all. Once again, I am DJ Yogi on Instagram. If you want to see the video and the editing side of things or that part of the game, YoAbles.com.
Yeah.
If you just go to the I am DJ Yogi and hit the link tree on Instagram, you're gonna see some of everything. Follow the man, and I mean, follow his tips as well if you're trying to get on with some music. I'm also going to be featuring some of the stuff at Ojones Music Fest there, and certainly when the mix comes out, whoever makes the cut, we'll get a chance to look forward to that. But I want to go ahead and wrap here, and I want to thank you, Yogi, and also thanks to the audience here for checking out the latest Real Conversation from Oh My Talking Head, a production of Oh No He Did Entertainment under the auspices of Cottrell Jones Multimedia, respectively and respectfully. You can find us most everywhere online at Oh My Talking Head. That's OHMYTALKINGHEAD at Oh No He Did Ent. That's OKNOWHEDIDENT and at Cottrell Jones COTTRELLJONESMM. All of these are highly Googleable. You can Google them and find them. So do us a favor and look us up. Hook us up with a like, share, follow. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for joining us.